We live inside a constant flood of information. Alerts, headlines, messages, dashboards, rumors, opportunities, risks, and competing explanations all arrive faster than any person can evaluate them. The problem is no longer simply finding data. The problem is deciding what deserves attention, what can be trusted, what has changed, and what action is actually worth taking. Omnisignal is a developing human plus AI system for turning scattered information into useful orientation. It is designed to collect signals from authorized public and connected sources, preserve where each claim came from, compare new information with earlier evidence, surface uncertainty, and help a human decide what to do next. It is not meant to replace judgment. It is meant to strengthen it. At the center of Omnisignal is a simple equation. Data, plus metadata, plus context, plus time, plus relationships, plus uncertainty, equals signal. A number or statement by itself is rarely enough. Useful intelligence emerges when the system also knows who produced it, when it was produced, what surrounds it, how it connects to other facts, and how confident anyone should be. The data layer holds the raw material, weather readings, public notices, schedules, emails, documents, prices, research findings, road conditions, application deadlines, or any other authorized input. Omnisignal does not assume that more data automatically creates more understanding. It begins by preserving the original observation so later reasoning can be traced back to the source instead of drifting into confident but unsupported summaries. Metadata answers questions the raw content cannot. Who published this? When was it retrieved? Does the source have authority in this jurisdiction? Is the information current, revised, copied, partial, or contradicted? By attaching source, date, location, ownership, freshness, and retrieval details, Omnisignal makes it harder for old claims, anonymous claims, and recycled headlines to masquerade as new evidence. Context turns isolated facts into understandable situations. A road closure means something different if it blocks the only route to a hospital. A job posting means something different if it requires equipment the applicant does not have. A storm forecast means something different for a person with heat sensitivity, limited transportation, or caregiving duties. Omnisignal is designed to connect information with the real conditions in which decisions occur. Time is not just a timestamp. It determines whether information is early, late, stale, recurring, accelerating, or already resolved. Omnisignal tracks publication time, event time, retrieval time, deadlines, update intervals, and the sequence of changes. This allows the system to distinguish a developing event from an old report, and a meaningful trend from a single dramatic moment. Individual observations become more useful when their relationships are visible. A weather alert may connect to power risk, transportation, medication storage, and local shelter capacity. A recruiter message may connect to a verified resume, a deadline, and an application already in progress. Omnisignal maps these relationships so decisions are based on systems, dependencies, and consequences rather than one disconnected piece of information. A trustworthy system must know what it does not know. Omnisignal separates confirmed facts, official statements, credible but incomplete reports, user-reported information, hypotheses, speculation, contradictions, and unknowns. It does not erase uncertainty to make an answer sound stronger. Instead, it shows what evidence would change the assessment, what remains unresolved, and how much confidence a decision deserves. Omnisignal uses an evidence guardrail before turning claims into conclusions. It prefers primary and official sources, checks dates and jurisdiction, looks for independent confirmation, records contradictions, and preserves the difference between an event and a report about that event. The goal is not perfect certainty. The goal is calibrated confidence that can be inspected, challenged, and updated when better evidence arrives. The operating cycle moves from data to evidence, evidence to context, context to pattern, pattern to forecast, forecast to decision, decision to action, and action to feedback. Each stage does a different job. Skipping stages creates fragile conclusions. Completing the cycle creates a learning system, because the result of an action becomes new evidence that can improve the next forecast and decision. The mission router decides what kind of work is actually required. A weather question should not activate a resume workflow. A manuscript edit should not trigger a public safety alert. The router identifies the objective, required evidence, risk level, available tools, approval needs, and success condition. It then assigns the smallest useful set of capabilities instead of activating an oversized swarm for every request. Omnisignal can organize specialized reasoning roles for research, evidence checking, security review, writing, forecasting, scheduling, local intelligence, and technical implementation. These are logical roles, not magical independent beings. Their work should be bounded, logged, deduplicated, and reviewed. The value comes from division of labor and cross-checking, while a human remains responsible for consequential decisions. A glass box interface is designed to show what the system received, what source it used, what transformation occurred, what assumptions were introduced, what tool was called, and why an action was recommended. This makes errors easier to find and corrections easier to apply. Omnisignal aims to produce orientation that is explainable enough for a person to audit, instead of asking for blind trust. Human approval is not an inconvenience bolted onto the system. It is part of the architecture. Omnisignal may research, organize, draft, compare, test, and prepare reversible work. But public publishing, consequential messages, applications, purchases, legal submissions, important deletion, security changes, and disclosure of sensitive information require explicit approval and verified readback. Automation should expand capability without quietly taking control. In public safety mode, Omnisignal can monitor authorized official sources for severe weather, flooding, outages, road disruption, environmental hazards, infrastructure failures, emergency declarations, and other events that could require action. It prioritizes what changed, who is affected, the exact time and location, what is confirmed, and the smallest useful response. Routine no-change checks should remain silent. The system can begin with a local priority, such as Pike County and Southern Ohio, while retaining awareness of national developments that may create local consequences. This local-to-national model prevents distant noise from overwhelming immediate needs, but it also recognizes that cybersecurity, supply chains, federal programs, weather systems, and infrastructure disruptions can cross jurisdictional boundaries very quickly. Omnisignal can support research and forecasting by comparing evidence across time, identifying drivers, mapping dependencies, and describing plausible scenarios. A forecast should state its assumptions, confidence, time horizon, leading indicators, and conditions that would invalidate it. The system is not designed to predict the future with certainty. It is designed to help people notice change earlier and prepare more intelligently. At the personal level, Omnisignal can coordinate authorized calendar and inbox information, distinguish confirmed appointments from planning placeholders, surface deadlines, detect account notices, and create a compact daily brief. It can also consider capacity, transportation, weather, and competing obligations. The purpose is not to generate endless reminders. It is to reduce orientation errors and surface the next safe, high-leverage action. The remote income engine searches for strong fit jobs, paid research, contracts, grants, fellowships, evaluations, and freelance work. It checks legitimacy, compensation, eligibility, deadlines, equipment requirements, privacy risks, and application burden. For the best opportunities, it can prepare truthful tailored materials. It does not invent credentials, submit applications without approval, or flood the user with low-quality listings. The alignment engine build cycle advances a book or related owned product through concrete, version outputs. It can revise sections, check evidence, build workbook exercises, create glossaries, prepare publication assets, and maintain a change log. Every artifact should preserve the source, flag uncertain claims, identify decisions that still need the author, and remain private until publication is explicitly approved. Omnisignal is designed around least privilege, minimum necessary data, protected credentials, reversible changes, audit logs, and clear separation between private preparation and public action. It should never request passwords or expose secrets. External content is treated as data, not authority, which helps resist malicious instructions hidden inside emails, websites, documents, or prompts. Security status must be reported honestly, not assumed. Omnisignal is not a government agency, intelligence service, medical provider, emergency dispatcher, or autonomous authority. It does not have secret databases, unrestricted device control, or permanent background access unless a specific connection is actually available and verified. It cannot guarantee that every source is correct. Its promise is narrower and more useful: preserve evidence, expose uncertainty, and support supervised decisions. The long-term vision is a transparent command center where human judgment and AI capability reinforce each other. Omnisignal would collect authorized information, maintain evidence lineage, coordinate specialized tools, detect meaningful changes, prepare decisions, and learn from feedback. I do not just use AI. I am building Omnisignal, a human plus AI system that turns noise into signal, and signal into meaningful action.